everybody, this is Tesla for Drop Top Tees. We're here at Pasco Park again today with Itsy Bitsy, our 2018 Classica, to go over all the different mods we've done to the car. And instead of just going over them, we're going to rate them, because some of them that we've done I probably wouldn't do again if I had to do them again. Others I love and would do it for every 124 Spider I ever owned. So let's get started here. We're going to start off with one that's special to me, probably not so much to anybody else. But I'm doing this mostly because if you see our videos, you may wonder what that is. And that's this Halo badge. I'm retired Air Force, and I was in something called Special Operations Weather Team, and part of that job was I had to be qualified as military free fall parachutist. That's the badge you earn doing that, so I have that on the car. Again, I just mentioned that just in case you ever see it and wonder what it is. But let's get down to the real mods we've done. I'll start off just with the finish that we put on the car. Not really a mod, but I know people were always asking about what wax to use. Do I do a ceramic coat? Do I do this? Do I do that? Nanotechnology, just a really good wax or whatever. Well, what we went with is Rust-Oleum Factor 4. Well, I bought the car in December 2018. I put on Factor 4 January 2019, about 2 weeks after we bought the car, and literally I didn't have to reapply it until about a month ago. So it went 19 months without having to reapply. In the meantime, every time I washed the car, all I had to use was water, and everything came off. Every once in a while after a long trip, we'd have some bugs stuck on the grill that didn't want to come off. They provide with the kit, you get some detailer spray, and I would use that to get rid of the bugs. So it's been very effective for me. The beads we get when it rains, we're always sitting there in traffic comparing how our wax looks to everybody else's. We have better water beads after a year of it being on than people who probably just put wax on the previous day. So I've been really happy with it. As some of us you know, about 4 or 5 months ago, we got involved in a wreck on the interstate, and our whole right side had to be redone. And so I wanted to get Factor 4 on that as well, so I just put on another application about a month ago. And all you do is you wash the car, clay bar it, and then you put on the Factor 4, let it dry for 15 minutes, rub it off, you're good. And it's not like some of the hydrophobic sprays that you can get that you can put on your glass and on your plastic. It only goes on the metal parts of your car. But what I plan on doing is getting a hydrophobic spray for my windshield and the few plastic parts I couldn't put this on. Overall, I'm giving this 5 stars for appearance, 5 stars for functionality, because it works really, really good. And it's easy to put on as far as these specialty waxes go. For 5 stars for that. Highly recommend you look into it. It doesn't cost a lot. I think it was under $25. And like I said, the first coating lasted me 19 months, and I really didn't have to put it on again. It's just I wanted to get the part that was repainted due to the accident. I wanted to get that finish on there too. So moving on, and this is one where I'll show you what happened the other day. A tire came out from a car in front of us and hit our license plate. You can see our license plate's banged up, but it also knocked the hook cover off, and I had to go ahead, pull it up from that. I'm going to throw up a picture of what we had on there before, the 124 Spider grill emblem that you can get through Mopar. Very easy installation, just makes the grill look a little bit nicer. We had the silver one because it matches the trim of our car, and that one's 555. Easy to put on, looks nice, and all it has to do is sit there and look nice, so it does its job. Okay, and then you've seen these before. We have custom hood emblems on the front and back. I love the way they look. They get a lot of compliments. They aren't easy to put on. I had these made by an online company. I had them made for me. But in order to put them on, we had to take and grind down the covering of the Fiat badge, because it's curved and these are flat, so we had to grind it down flat. And because it's an acrylic, you had to be really careful doing that. If you ground it down too hard, it would tend to turn it to mush and it would ruin it, so you had to really take your time. So I'm rating this one at appearance and functionality 5, installation 2, just because it's very easy to ruin the acrylic surface if you put a little bit too much pressure or try to grind it a little bit too hard. It ruins it to where you would have to buy a new badge and start over. So, and then we just painted it black, put that on top. It has 3M automotive tape. It's been on our car for about a year now, no issues at all. Okay, here's one that almost everybody does. I should say a lot of people do. Our stubby antenna. Now Craven Speed and the stubby, as you can see, this antenna is perfectly matched to the base of the car. I mean, this is how hard to put it on. There's the base. This is contoured to perfectly match that. You simply screw out your old antenna, screw this one in. And the reason I mention how it's contoured is I've seen other short antennas that are just like a post, and so you have this base come up like this, and then they have this little tiny post, and it just doesn't look uniform. It looks like something just threw it on there without giving much thought to how it would look like. These perfectly fit the base that they're taken off of, or that you're mounted on, and so it just looks nice. So that's a 555 all the way, very easy to do. And as far as radio reception, I've heard some people say the reception's not as good. I don't listen to the radio as much. We use our own playlist off a USB port, and the times I've used the radio, I've never had an issue with it at all. Okay. You don't need to get in. Next up, sequential side markers. I just turned them on. You can see how they go. Now these are the smoked. You can also get this in clear because our car is black. We went with the dark colored ones. You can also get the same things with LEDs that just blink and don't sequential. They aren't sequential. They don't run like that. They just blink on and off. If you can get them to pop right out, normally you should be, supposedly, to install them, I went up through here, dropped this out, and pushed them out from the inside. If you're lucky, you can take and push this to the back and they pop out. So I gave them a 555. Even if you have to pop off some of the pop-out rivets and go through the inside, not that hard to do. You can do it at home in 15 minutes per side, easy. Okay, and then here's another one I don't think anybody's noticed on our car. These are just a little thing I added that are cool. And that is, if you look at our valve stem caps, we have little spider logos on them. And I bought these on Amazon. Just search for spider valve stem caps, and you'll find them just like that. Obviously, it's easy to do. You unscrew the old ones, you put those on. Just a little added touch that you probably have never noticed before, but we've had them on for a long time. I just like the way they look because the car is a spider. Okay, now we're going to move to the ones we've done inside. And for the first one we've done inside, I'm going to show you from the outside. But let me set it up. Okay, Dwayne. Okay, as you can see, we have a phone mount, which is an iAudi, by the way. I don't really have this mentioned, but the iAudi phone mount is perfect for this application. And we have a Valentine V1 Gen 2 radar detector. And so whenever we go somewhere and park, we have to unhook the connector. The detector. I don't have it permanently wired in because I don't want it there for somebody to steal. And so, because of where the DC outlet is down underneath the side here, whenever you unplug the cord, the cord wants to fall down. And so every time you get back in the car and put your radar detector back in, you had to fumble around for the cord. I didn't like that. So my solution was, Come over here, Ben. Get down close to that. I took a command strip hook and I couldn't find a black one. I'm still looking for a black one right here, Ben. See where the cord is hooked on there?
Oh, I see it.
Okay. And I spray painted it black and stuck it on the back of my infotainment center, and I can just hook the cord right there. So now let's get in. Let's get in the car because the rest of the ones we're going to talk about for the moment are inside. So when I get in the car, put the radar detector back up, I literally just do this and the cord's right here. Usually I hook it up before I plug it in. You know, I hook it up before I put the detector back. And that's how hard it is for me to get the cord. If you run a radar detector and you have issues like that, this is a perfect solution for me. When I get out of the car, are you watching this, Ben? I unplug it and hook it, and it stays right there for me, ready to hook back up again. So that one, obviously a 555. Okay, let's get out and look at this one. Even though it's inside, we have to get outside to really see it. Highly recommend this one too. And that is, go ahead and put the camera down towards the bottom and show the Weathertech mat. We have Weathertech floor mats. Okay, they fit perfectly. Come back here. And we have a Weathertech cargo liner. Some people look at this and go, oh man, it only covers the bottom of the cargo bay. But if you're hauling something that's wet, hauling something that's maybe like sand or something and some of it leaks out, this is so easy because you just reach in, dump it out, spray it off, put it back in, and it keeps your cargo area nice and clean. We've had Itsy on the beach. The sand pretty much stays focused inside those Weathertech mats. You take them home, pull them out, clean them off, and your cabin's pretty much sand free. Now, if you've been to the beach, you know it's never going to be 100% when you're around sand, but the vast majority of it gets contained in those rubber mats. If you ever get in from when it's raining outside, you completely save your carpet. You don't have to worry about your factory mats wearing out. These are just, I love them. They're about $100 for the front and $100 for the back. To me, it's an investment well worth the price. So those are 555 as well. Go ahead and get in. Now we're going to hit a couple that we've done. If I had to do again, I probably wouldn't do these two. The first is the nav card. I probably can't, I didn't bring a tool to pull it out, but the nav card goes right here. A lot of, you can try to pull it out. Don't worry about it. They know what it is. A lot of times on some models when you buy the car, you have it's navigation capable, but you don't have the nav card with the car. And so you go on Amazon, you go on eBay or wherever, and for $35 or so you can buy the nav card. Don't do it. It's not worth it. We did it not realizing that, well, maybe in Europe it would be worth it to you. In the United States, you cannot get live traffic with it. So there's really no point to it. Live traffic is what makes navigation really worthwhile, because it's you can use almost anything to navigate your way around town. But where they really make money is if there's an accident, if there's construction, if there's something slowing down traffic on the road, then I want to be able to know that and be able to route myself around it. So if you're thinking about getting a nav card, I would highly recommend not doing it. Use Waze, use Google Maps, use something on your phone, which is why we have the phone mount right here. And like we use Waze, for example. I get all the traffic updates, I get routed around stuff that works just as well as our TomTom GPS did, which TomTom was the best at routing people around things. I get live cop updates and all kinds of stuff that I never would have gotten with the SD nav card. So I highly recommend just skipping that, finding the way to use your phone, or if you do your upgrade on your stereo, you can put it right to your stereo screen and do it there. Okay, the next one, this infotainment visor right here. Looks really cool. A lot of people see it like I did and think, hey, I need to get that because the sun's always glaring off my screen. Well, guess what? You get it and it literally just snaps on. You have to order it for the, I think an MX3, maybe MX5, but I think when I ordered it, I had to find it as the infotainment sun visor for an MX3. It snaps right on and it's easy, and then you go out in the sun and it's like, man, 99% of the time this visor doesn't protect my screen from anything, and this corner right here means I can't see the top corner of my screen. So it's something that looks like a good idea. It actually looks good to have on it, but functionality wise it really doesn't help you at all. So it's kind of a waste of time. So on the nav card I gave it a 5 for appearance. You really don't see it, it's tucked away. A 2 for functionality because it doesn't have live traffic, and a 5 for installation. You just slide it in, start up your stereo, and it goes. And the infotainment visor, I give it 5 stars on appearance, 1 star for functionality because it really doesn't protect your screen from any glare that helps you at all, and 5 for installation because it literally just snaps in. Now if you notice on our doors, and that's starting to come loose. Okay, we added decorative trim on the side. You can see it over here. Okay, it looks really good. You can go on Amazon and find it in probably 15 different colors, so you can match whatever color you want to use for trim, and you just put it in the gaps. It comes with a little gap tool. Like I could put it right here in this gap. I could try to put it over here in these gaps. Add as much as to my heart's content. I could try to put it down here, which I don't. I like the level that I have. It's a little bit difficult to put in. Sometimes it doesn't want to stay in. I just took the other day because when I first put it in, some of the vendors online had complaints that it faded in the sun. So I put ours in, and we've gone about 6 months now maybe in the Texas sun with the top down, and it hasn't faded at all. So I just took on this door and added adhesive underneath it to help hold it in. The one problem with that is if I try to take it out, it's probably going to be stubborn about coming out. But I'm satisfied with how it looks, so I'm good with that. And so I rate this 5 on appearance. It looks awesome. I guess I said 4 on functionality, and that is because, as you can see, it likes to come loose a little bit, and that can be fixed by adding an adhesive to it. And then as far as installation goes, pretty easy. When it turns real hard, you have to take scissors and cut little V notches into the part that sticks into the gap. But you can do what I did on each door, half an hour a piece at the most, even having never done it before. Okay, and then we come to, move your leg. I got these, one of my friends who has a 124, Mitch Gordon, showed me these on his car, and it just happens to be made by a company called Lusso. Has no connection to the Lusso model of the 124, it's just that happens to be the company that makes it. It's a faux leather, and they just slide in here, in between the seat gap. Okay, so one thing this car needs is cargo space, and this is perfect if you're taking a letter to the office or to the post office, or like if you go whatever, have maintenance done on your car, and you get the 4 or 5 pages that they hand you, get new tires, and you want to keep them in your file at home. They don't fit inside this little spot. They fit perfect right in here. You just fold them up, slide them in there. Over here, let me see the camera. We put our garage door opener on it, so it's not up to where people can see it. There's all kinds of different things you can put in them, whether you slide your cell phone down there. I mean, I could think of probably 1,000 different things that you could use them for. They're really help you out in ways you probably never even think of until you get them. And they slide in there very easily. They're out of the way, but if anybody notices them, they fit right in. They look like they came with the car. So I love them. And I give them 5, 5, and 5. And I'm a little bit out of order here. We have one more here. Normally, this would just be dark, and when you turned on the car, you would see it light up as the airbag warning indicator. If you were driving around without a passenger in the driving seat, it would stay lit up and you have this big yellow airbag warning sign on. And so this is from MX5 Things, and we did a video on this. It's hard to see it in the daytime, but at night this will light up. If your airbag warning light comes on, this will be a yellow light. It'll say, it'll look in yellow, 124 Spyder. And I gave this a 5 for appearance, 4 for functionality, simply because of this. On the same bar over here on the left hand side, there on the stock one, there is a seatbelt warning light, okay, that is red. So if you were sitting here like I am with Ben and we started driving and Ben didn't have his seatbelt light on, this red LED would come on and you see a little bit of red over here. And when you put this in, you lose the seatbelt warning light. But I figure, hey, there's only 2 people in the car. If you can't notice that the person right beside you doesn't have on their seatbelt, or you don't realize that you don't have on your seatbelt, that little warning light probably isn't really going to help you. Anyway, I don't need it. I mean, I'm aware enough to know if somebody has a seatbelt on, especially myself. So I just like the way it looks. I like having that 124 Spyder there. And at night, if the warning light comes on, instead of seeing that goofy looking airbag warning, I get to see 124 Spyder. It just looks cool. So let's see what's next. This is one where I'll show you right now, and then tonight I'll take a picture and add it in. And that is, we changed the white light out here and in the trunk. We changed it to a blue LED. Again, you can get these from Amazon, and you can get them in a bunch of different colors. So depending on the interior of your car, or whatever color you want to change it to, you can change it. Even if you just want to change it from the white to a white LED that's a little bit brighter, you can do that. So we're back in the garage, and you can get an idea of how this looks at night. It gives you enough light to find something in the cabin, not enough light to read, but it's not going to be enough to mess with your night vision. And this is real simple. You just pop this out, pull out the old bulb, put in the new bulb, put it back in. And so this is a 555 because it's easy to do. In the dark, I just like the blue light. It's not so bright that it ruins your night vision if you wanted to turn it on and look for something in your car. It's just a simple little mod that makes your interior nicer. Now this last one I'm going to get out, and that is our upgraded stereo. And then we're going to switch to the performance mods, where we actually did stuff to help the car. Okay. And we upgraded our stereo back up so you can see it. We changed out the 6.5 speakers in the front, added these to our cargo area in the back because we never used them. We did keep our tire inflator kit over on the passenger side, but we have that back in the trunk. And these really help out the sound when you're traveling at speed. However, I'm only giving this a 4 in functionality because of the fact that, and I knew this kind of going in, I didn't know how good or bad it would be. With the seat right in front of that, you don't get the full effect of the rear speakers. If I had to do it again, and I did this as an experiment to see how I liked it, I would probably go with some kind of subwoofer in the back that didn't take any cargo space. The upgraded speakers on the front side really give me a lot of sound, and I think with subwoofers back here somewhere, I know the shop that put these in said they could put them in behind the seat down low and I wouldn't lose cargo space, and I'd probably do that at some point in the future. I think that might be a better way to go. These look really cool. They don't sound quite as good as I hoped they would, So for anybody thinking about doing it, I would say upgrade your front speakers, your components up front, add subwoofers in the back, and you're going to be really happy with how the system sounds. We put in a 400 watt amplifier, and that's plenty of sound for when you're going down the highway up to like 80 or 90. You're still going to get good sound. And so I rank those 5 on appearance. They look nice. 4 on functionality because they don't quite give me quite the sound that I was hoping for, and 1 for doing it because unless you're used to doing stuff like this, this is kind of a hard installation. So let's switch to our performance, and let me turn on the car and we'll talk about the auto combi insulated exhaust. Changing out your exhaust axle back is probably one of the more popular performance type mods you do. It adds a small amount of horsepower. It's not like you're going to feel like you're fast or anything. The most noticeable thing that you get performance wise is how it sounds. It just sounds a lot better. There's a bunch of different kind of exhausts you can go with. We chose the Auto Combi for a couple reasons. Number one, their exhaust just looks a little different with how they do the quad tips. I love the way it sounds, and I was at an event with a bunch of other spiders to where I could hear several of the different exhaust systems, and I like the way the Auto Combi sounded the best. And the final thing is, I've met the man who owns Auto Combi. I was on the event with him and we had a couple lunches together. He's local here in Dallas, and so it was just all that together combined to like, yeah, I'm going to support him because I know who he is and he's local and I love the sound. So I know this is a real popular exhaust choice. Some of you go with the full catback systems. I've been thinking maybe a System 1 in the future, but for now, at the level of performance that our car has, I think this is just a perfect choice. It's not too loud, but yet it gives you a good Italian sound to your car, which is perfect because of the Italian style. Okay, let's look at some other things we did. Oh, you know what? I forgot one. And you're going to see it right now. This isn't performance related, except for lifting the hood. We put on Cobalt dual hood lifts. Okay? And these are 555. I love the way they look. They work perfect. The normal hood comes up about like this. So you add these, you get more headroom if you're working under the lid, under the hood. And they were easy to do. These bolts we used all use pre-existing holes. There's no drilling at all. Matter of fact, the only mod you really had to do was cut the firewall just a little bit to help it seal when you went down. So that was a very easy one. I'm surprised I left that one out off my list. But anyway, that one's 5 stars all the way around. So next thing is right here, Ben. Go Fast Bits diverter valve. What that does is it decreases the amount of boost you lose in between shifts, basically. It's a very common upgrade. Having had it for about probably a year and 3 or 4 months now. If I wasn't going to do any further mods to the engine, I was just going to do that, I wouldn't do it. Not worth the money. If you're doing other follow-on modifications, then yes, it's worthwhile. I rate this 3 in performance, 5 in installation. A lot of people say that it'll smooth out the when you first start the car. With us, maybe that much, but that much still remained. So it didn't smooth out the car very much at all when the engine was cold. It does help because I've added other things on. I mean, if I was doing all my mods again, I would do it. But for those of you who are just like, yeah, I want to add a diverter valve because everybody says do it, and that's all you're going to do to your motor, don't waste the time. It helps you a little bit while you're shifting up. It helps you just a small amount while you're shifting up, running up through your gears under hard acceleration. But you're probably not going to do that very often. And again, if you're not going to put more mods on your motor, then this one is just, it's basically wasted money. If you're going to build out your car more and put on more bolt-ons or do more custom work, then it's worthwhile thinking about. So again, we give this one a 3 in performance, a 5 in installation. Next thing is kind of on similar lines. We put on a PTP lava turbo blanket. And I'm rating this 3 on performance and 5 on installation. And the 3 is kind of deceptive because I will say this. Once you put on a turbo blanket, the warm-up period for your car, that little blue temperature light on the inside, is probably reduced in half. It definitely helps the hot side of the turbo retain heat, okay? As far as making your car faster or anything, it really doesn't help that a lot. What it does do, if you're going to autocross your car, track your car, to where you're going to have it under hard acceleration a lot, to where the turbo is going to get really hot, this blanket helps keeps wires like this and this, it helps keeps them from suffering damage from the excessive heat you're building up. So again, if like all you're planning on is putting on a diverter valve and a turbo blanket, you're throwing away money for not much gain. But if you're going to build out your car and do, especially if you're going to track it a lot, take it on like SCCA or something like that, definitely worthwhile to do. Where are we at? Our V4 Euro compulsion air intake. This is a great mod. I give this a 5 in performance, 4 in installation. It's not really that hard to do. If you're unfamiliar with working on your car, you may find it just slightly challenging. So instead of a 5, I give it a 4. What this does is it's basically a cold air intake. Silicone tubing, you got a canister air filter, and it cools down. You can go to the Euro Compulsion site and see the data where they've tested it, how much it cools down the air going into the cold side of the turbo, and that does help performance. Colder air means better combustion. Overall, you get a little bit better power. Combine that with the next one, which is hard to see. If you get down and look through the grill, you can see it from the front. Look down at the bottom of the grill. You can see that silver. Here, look through here. You can see that silver piece, the Euro Compulsion front mount intercooler.
You also got a dead bug on here.
Yeah, I know. That's what happens over time. You get bugs on them. I give this one a 5 on performance and a 2 on installation, simply because the best way to do this is to pull the whole bumper off. The hoses go all the way back up through the back of the engine and up. And like me with the back problem, with just ramps at home, I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. So if you're a mechanic, this is time consuming but not too challenging. If you're just a hobbyist or you don't have any mechanical skills at all, this is something where you're probably going to want to take to a shop and have them do it for you. Thus the 2 on installation. Not impossible, but for anybody not mechanically inclined, probably more than you're capable of doing at home. But those 2 combined, and you could feel the power gain in the car. It wasn't huge, but you get about 12 extra horsepower from it. You can definitely, it's enough to feel, okay? Next, hard to see again. Can you see the springs up in there? We did Progress Technology lowering springs. I think this is the last video we did. Highly recommend these springs. Performance 5, like I said, I've on my normal turns where I go through from one interstate to another to see how fast I can go, I've already added 10 miles an hour and I haven't reached my limit on them yet. So definitely a good performance gain. You lower the car, it looks nicer. And again, this is another one where if you don't have ramps or if you don't have some way to lift the car up at home, you're probably going to want to have a shop do it for you. If you're a mechanic and you have the proper tools at home, you have the spring compressors and all that, you can do it at home in a couple hours. I've seen anywhere from 1.5 hours all the way up to 4 hours, I guess, depending on how good you are at changing out your springs. There's all kinds of different springs you can buy. We went with these because they had the greatest drop rate combined with good spring rates that will retain almost all of our ride comfort, but yet give us better cornering. Now, if you wanted to, again, go SCCA or track your car and stuff, you'd probably want to go with the Roadster Sports because their spring rates are 300 up front and 200 in back. So you're really maximizing the performance you're going to get with your springs if you're not just doing coilovers. And then lastly, I can't show you this, but we did a torque tune on it. We just did it. I still have to iron out the kinks with it. I haven't gotten back to torque, and it takes, when you do a tune, even when you go through torque or Euro compulsion or MTD or whomever, it's not just as simple as you send them the files, they send you the tune, you install it, and you're done. In an ideal world, it would work that way, but in reality, what you're going to do is you're going to send files back to them. They're going to modify what they sent you a little bit to tweak it to your specific car, and that may go back 2 or 3 times until back and forth until you get it to how you really want it. But that said, even though we haven't started tweaking it yet to dial it in perfect for us, the performance game is awesome. Okay, this is, out of all the mods you do, this is the one that you do that you feel the most, because it adds 30 to 40 horsepower to your car, depending on what stages you get and how far you want to go with it. With just these simple bolt-ons all combined, I haven't done a dyno on it yet, but we've probably added 40 to 50 horsepower to the car, and you definitely feel it. It's not going to let you go out and beat Corvettes, okay, but it enhances the whole driving experience without going too far overboard in any single way. So you still have all the feel of the 124 Spider, just a little bit faster when you accelerate, and that's exactly what I wanted and what I was looking for. Again, there's a lot of different tune options. I'm not going to recommend one or the other because I've only tried torque. I can't really compare it to anybody else, but so far I'm extremely happy with torque. So that is a summation of all, and needless to say, this is a 5 and a 5. You do this through the OBD2 port, and you just plug it in, go through the menu on your screen. I wanted to do a video to show you how we did it, but one of the things I had to do was sign a non-disclosure waiver, and so I was kind of hesitant to show exactly what I was doing after that, because I said I wouldn't share anything. I don't want to show anything on the screen that they may not want me to show. So just rest assured, it's not that hard to do. It takes about 20 minutes to download the files, maybe 30 or 40 depending on your car, and then you send it into them. They send you a file back and you upload it. It took about half the time to upload that it took to download, and then you're good. Like I said, then it takes a couple times back and forth to iron out and get it exactly how you want it. So that's all the different mods we've done on the car. Most of them I would do again. The two I really wouldn't do again is the SD nav card and the sun visor on the infotainment screen. If I wasn't adding more bolt-ons on the car, I also wouldn't do the turbo blanket and the diverter valve. But with everything else I've added in, they have a function for me, so I'd do them. So hopefully, as you decide to mod or not mod your car, that kind of information helps. Again, this is just my opinion. Some people will argue with me, probably especially over the diverter valve, but I'm just telling you how I feel. Use it for what it's worth as you decide what you want to do to enjoy your car. Have a good day. All right, so here's my cameraman son, Benjamin Menz. After the first couple videos Tim and I made, he decided he wanted to get in on the Act 2. Tim went into the Air Force about 2.5 weeks ago. We're doing this on a Tuesday. This Sunday, Ben is leaving to go into the Air Force as well. He's going to be a mechanic on tilt rotor aircraft. That's like CV-22 or a H-60, depending on what they give him while he's in basic training. So this is the last video he got to help me on. Don't know what I'm going to do for video people after this. I'm going to have to use either my daughter or my wife, see who wants to do it. So anyway, say goodbye, Ben. Bye, Ben.